The Immortal Mask, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure, follows a retired soldier turned reporter who is given a coveted interview with a death row inmate. What he learns thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to use his military training to survive being hunted for possessing the information that could topple the city's most powerful ruling class. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at denali's.com.
Oh man, I wish I could find a way to better advertise Apothic Press.
Just back it already.
Whoa, Crom, what are you doing here? What's this? The Madness Roku Network. Sponsorship. 1 month of playing your 30-second ad on the network 3 times a day? Oh my gosh, for $20? And you can't beat that.
Just back it already.
All right, Crom, I'm doing it. Awesome. Hi, I'm Tanner Hurley, founder of Apothic Press. I back the Madness Roku Network, and so should you.
"25 seconds to curtain, folks."
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
Oh, they're going to leave it there? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Issue 6 can't come out soon enough. But dang, it's crowdfunded. It's going to take forever. I wish I could talk with the creators about this and find out more about issue 6. Oh, hi. I didn't hear you guys come in. I forgot you were coming. Hi, I'm RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, Chief Envelope Licker for Critical Blast Logistics, Myopic Proofreader for Critical Blast Publishing, and some other stuff. I forget what it is. You caught me reading one of my favorite independent comic books, The Great Cyclopian from Hero Shack Comics. And like I said, it'd be really cool if we could sit down and Hey, Chris!
How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing? Let's put some background imagery up here. So
that was fantastic. I should
go.
probably kill mine, huh? Now I got like a double effect going on.
Ooh, it's almost 3D. My
is.
mother used to do these crafts when I was like a wee lad, where it was like, it was nothing but you cut the image out of a little piece of paper, and then you did it again, and then you did it again, and then you did it again, and then there was like a background, and you glued a little styrofoam block, and you put the image on it, and then you glued another little styrofoam block, and you put the image on it, and some of them were 7, some of them were 5, some of them were 2, and it just gave this depth of a diorama. It was
All right,
something.
I'm looking for something I can use that's like not going to blow everybody's brain because of the colors. This one's pretty good.
I like it. Cool.
Yeah, but okay, I'll leave it. Okay. I'm back. Full quality. Oh, no, look, it's gone. I see what you mean. There we go.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh,
It's
Thursday.
weird though. I got one of the jabronis behind me there. So the guys on the left of the photo are the bad guys, and they are there to try to take out the Cyclopian.
It's hard to tell who's who sometimes.
Definitely. But the lines are being drawn in this issue and in issue 7, which you might say, how can you be talking about issue 7? I'm funding 6, but 6 is done. As is our policy. We try to have them at least 90% done when we launch, but this one has been done for a little while.
So,
and
so
7,
the pieces that you've been teasing to me are in 7.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So that's very exciting because I'm going to need to credit you in the book because I've been bouncing stuff off of RJ about a parody I'm doing, and he's very good at like just keeping it going. Like when I think I might be getting a little crazy, RJ's like, "What? Are you kidding? Let's go, go, go!"
Look, there's an 11 on the dial. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the location today took me by surprise. That was wonderful, and it's going to work. It's going to be there. But yeah, so it's ongoing. The Cyclopian has a lot of momentum right now. With getting back to, as I was talking to you backstage, got a lot of support coming out of New Hampshire specifically, and a lot of great friends up there that are backing it and supporting it. So we're able to do some crazy things with it, you know?
It's a great fun book. Now, you have other books and they don't cross over, but for some reason, I'm reading issue 5 and I'm like, Forever Tron pops in. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he's made
from here.
Yeah. He's a character that I'm kind of recycling and including in the Cyclopian world. Just because you know my characters, Man Guy is also being repurposed and recycled, as is the Dodo Ball. As you know, my wife is my editor, but she's also a very good writer. And so she's writing her first child book, basically, in conjunction with me. And we're going to do a Dodo Ball child book. So the Dodo Balls were just the cute little red balls with the hands coming out of their heads.
Yep.
She likes it so much. She wears a t-shirt. People love it. So I was like, write a book. So we've got a few projects going on. But things do cross over into the Great Cyclopian all the time. Issue 7 has a parody of a very popular character that I'm very excited about.
I know.
Yeah, you do know. And actually, it's been guessed, but I haven't released it. Haven't told anybody. Even when they guess it right, I laugh. But actually, as you know, it's evolved. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And the thing that's great about it is it's still crazy and wild. And anybody who doesn't know what I'm making fun of, it's just a comic. You know, these are creatures, characters. You know,
that's when parody works best. When somebody can enjoy it without knowing what the parody is. If you do know it, you laugh twice as hard. But that's.
Well, I tested it on Diana this morning, the little visual trick that I shared. And at first she didn't get it, but I had to tell her later on it gets explained in the story in some context because she was like, what's going on there? And I'm like, just let me tell you.
It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake.
Yeah. She was like, are you sure that's what you want? Yes, you'll get it in a minute, you know. And so it's been a lot of fun. I keep her in the dark about some of the secrets. That way
she's a wife. You got to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, then I can see the reaction, like, because what she'll do, read through in front of me. And if she hits a point that she doesn't know is coming, I get to see that expression on her face the first time. And I can go, oh, was that a line? Was that too far? Do I need to like, and she's honest with me. By the way, I want to say hi to JD Kirby.
Hey, JD, we're here talking about the Great Cyclopian, man.
Right.
Which is on Fund My Comic for number 6. That's right. The link's down there. Hit the link, folks. Money. I
guess as a side note, I'd like to say if we can get 50 physical backers, I'm giving out free t-shirts. And I'm really excited because my wife's jaw dropped when I told her I was doing that. So the closer we get, the more excitement that I'll have in this house.
something like excitement. Yeah.
It is exciting because she's all for it. But at the same time, she's also like, well, what happens if we sell 100? And I'm like, well, that's 100 t-shirts. And yes, that's the cost of a promotion.
Yes, it is. So we need 50 backers to get that to happen. We're at 10. Guys, hit up your circle of friends. Tell them to get over here and find out about what the Great Cyclopian is. And tell them to bring their wallets because we need them. We need 40 backers. I feel like Jerry Lewis or
and I think we have like 17 days. So like, hey, if they tell you it's, not till payday, drop their email with me and I'll remind them. No, I'm kidding, totally kidding. But the idea is I didn't want to pick a goal that was too easy. So like if we get some publicity, if we catch a run, a wave of goodwill, we'll see it go up. But as it is, it's funded and it's finished and it's ready to go. And it's very exciting.
Fantastic.
Hey,
Mike is in the chat. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you dropping in and doing the share thing here. Mike will be going live at the top of the hour, so be sure to pop over there when he puts the link up and jump in for the mic stand and catch all your news.
Thursday night is like crazy. Like there's a lot of great stuff going on tonight.
I know. I used to say, so happy it's Thursday. It didn't catch on like, thank God it's Friday. I don't know why.
Well, I think everybody just said, hey, RJ's got a good slot there. We're going to.
I want to get if I did it on Thursday all the time, which would like cut out the rest of my week, I would just get a shirt that said, so happy it's Thursday. And I would just maybe abbreviate it or something. It's the So Happy It's Thursday show.
It's a weird day though, because it's right after hump day. Yeah. Say it again.
So happy it's Thursday.
So happy it's Thursday.
The So Happy It's Thursday show.
Gosh, I'm being so slow tonight.
You know how Thank God It's Friday works, right?
Right. TGIF.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So happy it's Thursday.
Oh, now you had to spell it out for me. See, I'm doing terrible tonight.
It's not funny if you got to do that.
I know, I blew it.
George got it.
He did. He's still laughing at it.
The So Happy It's Thursday show is coming up.
By the way, since George is here, that reminds me that Immortal Mask promo is awesome. So I know we're here to promote my book, but my goodness, I got to check that out. I just wanted to mention that because I've always enjoyed the Immortal Mask. I got the first 3.
Guess what? The Immortal Mask is going to be your neighbor on Fund My Comic real soon here.
Oh, sweet. I love that.
We are because guess what it's going to be done as?
Oh.
And then do you hear that?
Nice. That is sweet.
But you know what's even sweeter?
Not yet.
Is that you can also get it like this.
No kidding.
I got a half of a screen here. That kind of sucks. So yeah,
you're saying I can maintain my floppy collection and get a hardcover
and or a trade paperback size trade paperback.
Oh, all right.
Or now this is if you want to show your nerd cred and like truly say I was there when stuff happened. Do you remember? You're too young. You don't know.
I'm too young.
In the 70s, early 80s.
I was there.
Marvel had a thing called the pocket books.
Yes. So that's the size of it?
That size.
I actually have some of those over on my shelf, I think. All right, hang on. I just got to be nerdy.
Go get it. This is the Immortal Mask pocket size book. And yes, it is a full graphic novel, but look at this. It's the size of my hand. This could fit in the hip pocket of your jeans, just like we used to do with the pocketbooks of yore. What do you got? You got Spider-Man or Captain America?
Exposed here. I have the Spider-Man one somewhere in the house, but on the shelf, all I have is manga sized.
Oh.
I looked over and I'm like, oh yeah, I got small books.
Not the same small books, but
yeah, not the same ones.
So yeah, you can either get the traditional trade paperback and the pocketbook, or if you want something on the coffee table that's going to make people ask questions and start conversation, get that.
Well, heck, that is awesome. All of it on all of it on Fun My Comic.
Eventually, it hadn't launched yet, so we're working it.
We're having a really good time on Fund My Comic, and I can't recommend it enough to other creators. Even if you're using other venues, stick your stuff on here. It's a real independent community.
You get a lot of support. I mean, you call Indiegogo for support on day one, you might get an email after your campaign's over.
Yeah.
And it'll be automated. You make a contact to Fund My Comic. They're in your DMs going, "What's up? How can I help? What's going on here?
Yep.
Okay, I see the problem here. We're going to fix this right away, or here's what you need to do. Walk you through it, hold your hand, be your rubber ducky, all that kind of stuff." That's
well, my favorite comparison is like you can go to Walmart and you can probably find a comic book or two, and you know they got a lot of stuff there. But you go to Fund My Comics, and it's primarily comics. They got some geek games and some cool stuff that is comic related, but it's mostly it's a comic book store versus a Walmart shelf, and it's awesome.
Yeah. By the way, if you like hardcover books or you just like books at all, you need to start hitting the links below. Hit that first link. Yes. It's first because it's most important. That's the Fund My Comic link to go out there and get your comic book. It is you need this. In fact, I bet you have a tier on here and we haven't scrolled through. Can they still get 1 through 5 on this promotion?
Yeah, there is a catch up. 1 through 6, actually. You can get all 6 of them. But you can also throw in the PDFs if you just want to catch up, $5. And that's actually not a one-time purchase. If you bought it in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th issue, you have access to it. And when 6 comes out, it'll be in that folder for you to check out as well. It's kind of like a lifetime thing. And I put it there just so that people who want to support us but don't want to buy a book, neighbors, aunts, whatever, it's there so you can throw $5 at it and you can read it if you want. There are people who want to support it who aren't necessarily buying comics.
Get the book. You want the book. And then, of course, after you've done that, after you said, well, I bought a book, what do I do for the rest of the show? Buy more books. Click the rest of those links. You'll see The Monsters Next Door, which is the latest from Critical Blast. I think there's one in the Tamulevich household.
I was going to say, I believe that's sitting on my nightstand.
I do very much appreciate your business. And it's like, it's the first one I've seen of its kind. And it was just a weird idea that we had to actually put a comic book cover at the front of each story and then just jump into the actual story itself. So unlike most anthologies where it's like the title, byline, start the story, about the author, we went the extra mile, and by we I mean George. His signature is on all the art, and his energy drove a lot of the creative decisions in this process. So
George is almost like an independent legend at this point.
George is like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of independent Jedi.
Yep. I'll give it up to him. I agree, and he's funny too.
Yes, he is. He is definitely that. So. This is the gorgeous, beautiful wraparound cover for the Great Cyclopian. And what you're seeing is a fight between two heroes.
Yeah.
Great Cyclopian and Captain Aura.
You're seeing, it's to relate that fight, but in the background, you have a force coming in unexpectedly. The lady there, her name is Dr. Jill. And Peter, the Great Cyclopian, has had a crush on her for the first 5 issues. And her role is very shocking to him because she leads a force that's there to basically take him in, arrest him, or dead or alive. They don't have a particular, they don't care either way. So it becomes what's that?
He's too powerful to be left out alone.
Yes, exactly. And because he's showing teen angst, he's only 19 years old, and this is really his first time out on his own doing missions. And he's already showing a bit of rebellion. The government is like, yeah, we need to reel this in now. And Captain Aura, he's in the position that while he's employed by the government, he is not enlisted in the government. He is not currently a military active member. So he has to make a choice. Is he going to sit by and watch his pupil, get pummeled? Or is he going to step up and try to help him? And of course, because I'm even asking that, you probably have suspicions about what's going to happen, but it's how it unfolds that's fun.
I know how the book just ended because I was there.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, this was in response to a very calm buildup. Issues 3 and 4, there was a lot of buildup to this, and there's a lot of action in 6 and 7, and 8 is just mind blowing. And I have a new villain coming in 8 that I can't reveal yet, but it's the way it's unfolding and all the parody that is in 7 building into 8. I can't say enough. I am so excited.
I know. Folks, it'll all add up.
Oh, it will. Yeah. Or at least if it doesn't add up, you'll no, I almost slipped. I was going to drop a hint, and I'm not.
No. Let them do the math.
Absolutely.
We're dropping shameless plugs here.
There's little hints for those in the know.
Yes.
But yeah, so
And by the
please
way,
check out the book. What's that?
Get the 50 backers here so that everybody gets a t-shirt. But even without t-shirt, you're not gonna know what else is in your package. I ordered the book. I'm like, I got cheap because suddenly I'm backing all of you guys in spurts, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna get the book. I don't need the $150 cosplay cover with the holochrome signature that sings happy birthday. That's good. But I got this book, and there's like stickers and prints, and I got this really cool Cyclopian button that I'm wearing, and I got this Captain Aura keychain that's right here. I'm like, and damn it, this thing came in like a day after I actually literally went to Walmart to buy a keychain because I was getting a duplicate key of the warehouse made for my other workers so that they don't need to call me up all the time saying, hey, we ran out of something, we need to go get it. And I could have used this right there.
It's funny. I actually have one of my chain. It's been beat up a little bit, but I feel like it's battle scarred. So like I haven't taken it off. And
well, yeah, it's a sticker mule, I'm guessing.
Yes, exactly. And so we're having a hard time with stretch goals. We launched the campaign and immediately went past the 500 intended stretch goal, which is this time is temporary tattoos. So we set up one for 1,000. I'm not declaring this is where we're going, but you have to have one up there or else. And then we put up the super stretch goal of it's basically just getting a base of physical books out there. So it's not the same as the monetary one. I have friends who are like, I don't know if we can get that. I'm like, you can't get that high. You can only buy once. It counts once for you. Don't buy multiple. Because I have friends that are they're great like that, but it's like, no. Let's get more books out. Like
I ship for people, and I'm like, when I did Fiendish, she had a collector's box where it's like, hey, get like every single cover of the alternates. It was like 5 alternate covers. And then people mixed and matched. I had a guy that bought 10 collector's boxes. It was a great. And it was like, and he bought tons of extra books on top of that. So people will return to the well if they like your product. Just give me more of the.
And it's amazing. And it's humbling. And I mean, I don't discourage that. It's just sometimes I'm like, you just want them to enjoy the character. It's like, I appreciate it, but just spread the love. Let's get this around.
I'm selling soap here that you're backlogging to use later. It's a book,
right? And you can only read it once. Well, I mean, you can read it multiple times, but it could be a collector's item, so I can't discourage that. They may want to hold on to those.
Get two. Read one, and keep the other one behind. But
and we may add a couple of more things to this. But I do know Diana's added or is adding a Hero Shack apparel store. So we'll have all these cool t-shirts that we feature in our campaigns for sale later. I don't think it's live yet, but like we're really looking at Fund My Comic as a resource because you can set up stores there and you can have storefronts. Yeah. And so that's like we have the Trolls Exposed in the storefront. That's available. But the t-shirt thing is something we dropped our store from our website. We were paying a service that was ridiculous. And of course, Fund My Comic has everything you need.
Everything. And it's getting more. There's some stuff that it still really needs. And working from the fulfillment end, I'm like, yeah, you really need that part. And it's high on the list of things that are coming. But
now, see, I haven't hit that, but that's because Diana, who you guys see in the chat, she handles all that. So for me, it's very it's very friendly, and I don't have to worry much about it. She probably hits the same thing you're talking about and has to do workarounds and stuff. But the thing is, they are there to help if you get stuck.
Yeah, they absolutely are. So I'm looking at the page here. This is the Fund My Comic page, folks. This is the one where the link is right below the video. Hit it.
Right.
$5. This is not for the PDF. This is for the library access to the PDF. So this takes you in. Now, is this like a viewer window, or is this like, hey, here's the library PDFs, right click save kind of thing?
Right click save kind of thing. And you know, I'm sorry if you share it with 1,000 people. Oh no. Please be careful. Be careful letting those slide around, because you know that might get my character out there. I'm sorry, I'm being a little sarcastic, but in other words, if you got like a cousin in Idaho that you want to share it with, you're not going to have my lawyers
like to steal the high seas.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. It's okay.
It is okay. I want Cyclopian to be spread, because honestly, he's not making it not being shared. So,
but you know, when it gets down to things you want to hold in your hand, $10.
Yes, and we were able to bring that down from 15 that we charged last month. Shipping is still required, but I believe it's a fixed price. I don't know what the fixed price is. I want to say it's $5. The last issue we had issues with costs and what we were doing. This time it's worked out a little better. And so we fought really hard to work that down. Because basically it's about getting it out, you know. That's scary. I'm looking at that. Anyways, because you know I get weird when you do this stuff, RJ. You're looking at stuff. Oh no. And you know what's really cool?
Look at that shipping fee, $5.
That's what it is. Okay, cool.
And
that's what I thought it was.
It's all on my phone. It's all on my website, guys, because I run a business.
Yeah, mine is in there too. And it's really cool because Diana's starting to back her own stuff. And the only thing we're having problems with, and I need to check it out, is the Amazing Red Bee. We haven't been able to back. And Diana really wants it, but they have a glitch going on. They're in editing right now, so I don't know what they're fixing. But that's the one we're waiting on right now, which if you've seen the trailer, you might think it's silly. It's a very kiddish book, but we like those too. We have a shelf full of collections that you wouldn't believe from the local independents and the New England convention scene, because I'm sure every region has like independents that are in their area, and that's what we do. We all make comics, and I just happen to have one of the weirdest ones that are pretty fun.
It's a different kind of fun than what you had on Cluster Fudge.
Oh yeah, definitely. So the weird thing about this is, I've found that it honestly does kind of resonate with kids and adults. And it also does weird things because he's deaf and mute. And this was, so I probably shouldn't say this publicly because it wasn't ever intended, but as a side box, there are people who like him just because of his handicap. They're like, oh, he's deaf and he has to sign. Yeah. And that's immediately something they like. And I'm like, well, technically that was like a difficulty for my hero. It's not like, it's weird to have some people celebrate it, but in a way I get that too. They look at it as representation, but it's an example of representation without being there for representation.
Okay,
it was there because
here's the thing. The Great Cyclopian is a hero who's deaf. The Great Cyclopian is not a deaf person who uses it to become a hero.
Right.
There's a huge difference.
And there are some fun things coming. You know how sci-fi creates the future?
Yes.
There is something coming to Cyclopian before issue 12, and I'm not sure if it's dropping in 10 or 11, that I believe could revolutionize the world, at least for deaf people. And
we talked about this. I can't remember what it was. We talked about it.
When I introduced this in the story, I'm hoping to get like some young, inventioner inventing type to go, between AI and sensors and things like that. Oh, this could happen. I'm so excited. It's like the Dick Tracy watch. Somebody when they invented that must have said someday. And now we got it. I can literally do almost everything that Dick Tracy did.
I want to get a wristband for my phone and just.
Ironically, my phone is my camera. That's how it. It's a 4K camera. I don't have a better camera in the house, so I stick it up here on the monitor on a stand, and there we go.
Your phone is your everything now.
Yeah. It's kind of scary.
And that's the world that that's the world that the Cyclopian lives in. But guess what? The old world still kind of creeps up on him, because I just read issue 5 again. And he actually finds a phone.
Yeah.
A phone. And he doesn't know what to do with it.
That's right. He finds a rotary phone and he's quite perplexed by it. He does manage after being instructed twice. But it was
big old fat fingers in them holes and try to spin it around. I was talking about this the other night about rotary phones. It's weird that they're coming back. Comics Artists Pro Secrets in the house. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate this.
Good evening, sir.
Yep.
Thank
okay.
you.
You've got the approval from one of the masters, from one of the kings.
I'm starting to blush.
We appreciate you popping in and saying hi, sir. And hopefully others will follow you suit and jump in on this book, which I just backed online, and of course I've been reading the issue before that. I am a regular backer of the Great Cyclopian.
Thank you, sir.
I'd love to be able to say that about I try to back a lot of the books. Sometimes they're just not for me.
I guess I should say too. In my own credit, if people talk to me, I talk back. RJ and I have full conversations because he's accessible to me and I'm accessible to him. But we love talking to people who have checked it out, whether it's good or bad. Like, ask RJ. I've asked him for criticisms. I'm like, give them to me. Let me know. And
I think I have. I don't think they were.
It's hard though, isn't it? It's like, because I do it to myself. Like I criticize myself, and then I realize some things are just part of my style, which I hate that line because so many artists say it's my style when it just means I can't. Like I've done that before, but some things are my style. It's like, oh, I got that from John Byrne, or I stole that from Kirby 10 years ago, and I'm still using it in my chicken scratch. Like you get styles and develop habits.
And folks, let me just point this out here. I'm going to find a good example here, because you've got a guy he's got no mouth, he's got no nose, he's got no ears. All he's got is an eyeball and fingers that he uses to sign. And it's like, okay, what do you do with that? Chris is a master at getting expressions out of a single eyeball on this guy. So when he's mad, you're going to know it. When he's happy, when he's sad, you get that eye to do things that
it's so amazing. Fun though. It's like natural. And the only thing is, it is hard when you want to draw the rage of like a gaping jaw, and you're like, oh, it's just not there. But what it's done is it's made me pay more attention. But it's made me pay more attention to the muscle definitions and getting more contrast in the ripples and stuff. And honestly, looking at other people's art does that too. There's some great art out there. And when I see it, I absorb it. Like, you've probably seen the one of, I believe it's the Hulk versus the Pit. It's been going around Twitter the last few days.
I saw it today.
And I love the muscles in it. I'm like, and that's something that I'm looking at, and I'll absorb that into my own drawings because it's so impressive, And I didn't have that when I was a kid. This is the internet time where, we're exposed to that for free. What's that?
I looked at that and said, did that take like a year to draw? Because
oh my God, I don't know, because he released it in stages. So like 4 days ago, it was just a Hulk, and then Pitt kind of showed up. So I'm hoping he did it, sequentially, and he was just showing us in a linear fashion, like as he was doing it. But it could have been a year for all we know.
Are there really only 3 tiers on this campaign?
There are.
That's the simplest it gets.
We didn't want to hog it up with a bunch of stuff because every 500 we're going to do a stretch goal. That's the goal. So knowing how we did last book, that means we're probably going to get 3 or 4 stretch goals into it. And that's a lot of stuff. And so like, why offer, a bunch of extras when they're going to get a bunch of stuff? That's the whole idea. Like, if we focus on the books, I can give more bling, I guess. And I have to balance all this with Diana. So it's all carefully planned.
Well, you got
It's
11
such a
backers
blast.
now. We'd still like to get 39 more. 39 backers.
If not tonight, I know that. So in the next 15 days, I'm going to start streaming every afternoon on Facebook. Oh, the evil Facebook. We've noticed there's a lot of interaction for us there, and it's just simply related to who knows us in New England, and they use Facebook a lot. So I'm going to be doing an afternoon stream, and that's going to coincide with our first ever Hero Shack comic book club, which is going to be held at a local elementary, and we're going to be teaching kids how to make comics from scratch. And I know from that's going to be publicity, and I'm sure that's going to help boost sale. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm not doing it for the publicity, but when people know what you're doing, it's more exposure.
Yeah. Plus, you're setting up the next generation of comic artists.
That's the best part.
Have you ever talked with Randy Zimmerman?
I don't think so.
We're going to make this happen.
Okay.
Randy runs Arrow Comics.
I advertise him a lot in my pre-show.
There you go. He did the same thing. He used to have a class that he would go in and he would teach kids how to, draw cartoons. And, one day it'd be this, one day it'd be that. So, I love hearing somebody else is going out there and doing the same thing.
Well, I've done this the last 2 years in another school, but this is the first year that Miss Diana is joining us, which means there will be more structure and more care. My first 2 sessions.
How to edit.
Yes. And also, but like my first 2 sessions, I was really one of the kids. Like some of the comics they made were cut and paste. One kid wanted to do nothing but print pictures, cut them out, and make comics. And I let them. And the amazing thing is, if you tell them, okay, you got to structure these things in such a way, but you can do it any way you want, they will. And they teach you so many things, and they learn so much off of it. It's just amazing. So like, I'm excited.
You'll learn new rules when you don't tell them the rules.
Yeah. Basically, I tell them you want to try to get it, in panels, but you don't have to have 20. You don't have to have 4. You just got to feel comfortable. And I do teach them the Z philosophy of page layout, but you don't hold anybody to that. You're like, if it looks bad, you just say, well, it makes recommendations, but they get it in time. And we're talking about elementary school kids. So it's not, you don't be looking for Jack Kirby to jump out, but they're a lot of fun. And they do, I had kids that did full stories. And I would have printed them had I had a choice, but it's not my choice. They're kids, but they were cute.
These kids are growing up though on Dog Man and I almost said Captain Underpants, but God, that's aging things back another 20 years, isn't it?
They still do those too, though. There were fan comics that some of them did of characters like those two, and there was something else that we're doing a lot of. I want to say Five Nights at Freddy's, but it wasn't that. Hello, Diana.
Hello, everybody. I thought I'm sitting in the chat and I'm trying to talk, and I can't talk. That's right. I'm not in the stream.
You're like my great grandmother who used to sit there in front of the television and yell at the wrestlers, "Watch out! He's going to get
you!" Exactly. But I'm so excited because, like Chris was saying, we're floored by the support that we're getting. Some very good friends of actually Chris's and now mine have been really reaching out and kind of bumping this campaign and Great Cyclopian 5, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback. They're buying the books, they're liking them, they're asking Chris when is the next one, and it's kind of like turning a page for Great Cyclopian. And I also think that the Comic Creator Club, we called it a Comic Creator Club. Some kids might want to do comic strips, some kids might want to do a comic book, some kids might want to do a graphic novel type of thing. But it's my first time being involved. And Chris says it's going to bring a lot of structure to it. That's not really what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's just going to be so much fun first off, to watch Chris with a class full of kids. You don't know Chris, but Chris is amazing with children. Children love my husband, Mr. T. They call him Mr. T. They love Mr. T. So it's going to be really cool for me to watch
They
that.
don't even know the reference.
Yeah,
Actually, they do because they educate him, and that is one of the most fun things. You rip out a picture of him on your iPhone, and you go, "This is Mr. T." And what they all do is they go, "Look at all the bling." They all notice it. He has so much gold, Mr. T.
right. It's so
I'm
funny.
not the real Mr. T. See, I don't have any gold. Not to mention the hair, but there is a child at school that has a crew cut, or not a crew cut, a mohawk, and he really took to knowing there was a real Mr. T who also had a mohawk. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Rocky.
I'm just excited.
I would show it to them in school, but it's PG. So yeah. It's a no tolerance. They don't do that stuff.
Show them
They
the
gotta
18.
do G. Yeah,
Nobody
when
gets
they're
shot in the 18.
yeah, yeah. They did mention they knew about the A-Team, and I was like, when you go home, you can watch it. That's you got to be careful. It's just the way it is in education these days.
So has Pete, the great Cyclopian, has he taken over your creative efforts? I mean,
He is my flagship. My primary thing. I am drawing the Dodo Ball child book, but because it's a child's book, it's going to be like a very nice illustration with a short paragraph on one side. So it's not a sequential layout panels. It's basically I'm going to be doing digital watercolor type stuff. And it's going to be cute. It's going to have personality, but it's also just one of those things where when I've done 2 or 3 pages of Cyclopian and I need a breakaway just to, cleanse the palette, that's what I'm going to turn to, where it used to be Cluster Fudge or it used to be Trolls or whatever, Man Guy. It's going to literally be, I'm going to break away, do a quick piece, and then go back to my book. Mostly because now I've got so much planned out. I want to get to it. Like, it's one thing to write everything out and have all the plans, but it's not real until I draw it. So I want to get there myself. Like, it's part, I want to enjoy the story too. And the only way to really fulfill that is to draw it. It's like consummation.
Yeah.
I have to consummate the book.
so you want to illustrate a children's book, huh?
Yeah. It's so that's going to be the Dodo Ball. And his first telling is going to be explaining the calendar and days of the week. And it's going to be through his very unique personality, and it should be a blast. So far, what we've done, I'm very excited about, but it's probably going to be 6 months before we release it because I'm not doing it. It's not my focus. Cyclopian is, and that's like the back burner. When I'm done flipping Cyclopian, I stir the stuff on the back pot.
Yeah. Maybe it's done. Maybe it's ready. Maybe it needs to cook a little more.
Right. Yeah.
And we get close to the top of the hour here. I want to remind folks that at 8 o'clock Central, it's my time, 9 o'clock Eastern, whatever time it is, when the big hand is on the 12 again, hop over to Mike Walter's channel and get in on the mic stand tonight. He's going to be going over the Indie Comic Showcase article from Bleeding Fool, our friends over there, Chris Brawley and crew. So, pop over there and then pop over again tomorrow night because Friday is when the real fun happens. But Monday through Thursday is, Huntley and Brinkley. It's just, we're reading the news. Friday night at Sesame Street, we're reading comics and we're doing voices and we're doing sound effects. And it's just like radio of the mind again. Theater of the mind, radio drama kind of stuff. A lot of fun. So go hit that up.
That's the classic comic reads, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it calls it the comic book historical retrospective. But we're just reading Golden Age comics. We're going back to the beginning, back where it all started, and following it chronologically as best we can.
And it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. My schedule is just crazy. I haven't been able to even tell Mike I can make a Friday show. Like this Friday.
Like this Friday you were free until you weren't.
Yeah. So we were not going to go there because somebody could be watching.
Yeah, but her Fridays fill up quicker than I can even mention. It's like, wow. Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Diana, I don't know if you asked this before, but I'm going to let you know now. We're reading period is open in a week for the next book.
Oh, cool!
It is. You see the 3 fingers?
I see that.
Yeah, this is Devil You Know Best.
The Devil You Know Best. Okay, November 1st is the due date I saw, right?
Oh, that's when we start reading. It's going to be reading all the way through the end of January.
Ooh.
So we're going to be publishing that one in March. So yeah, if you've seen any of the other books that we've got here, I know you've got The Devil You Know Better.
Yep.
We've done Bulletproof, which is a superhero story. Gods and Services. I showed Chris the Brothers Grimm before the show.
Yep.
And then, of course, The Monsters Next Door, which I saw you open. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate
Yep.
that.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, my wife is a real reader. I read comics, and it's one of the reasons. Well, it's one of the reasons I want to get kids into them, because that's really, other than, and this will sound weird, but other than the Bible, the only thing I really read is comics. So
make a comics Bible.
Yeah. I have one, but you know what? It's boring. So I just read my comics for my comics.
Make it, you know, there was going to be a Bible comic that Keith Giffen, God rest his soul, fare thee well, Keith, because he just passed this week. Keith Giffen was going to do a Bible comic, and there was only one publisher who would even touch it. Do you know who that was?
I'm hoping it wasn't Marvel.
It was not Marvel.
Oh, then I don't know.
This was in the 80s, and they were publishing then Penthouse Comics.
You're kidding.
No, because he wasn't going to filter anything. It was going to be a bloody murder of Abel. It was going to be Adam and Eve naked walking around. It was going to be David looking at Bathsheba taking a bath and then sending her husband off to get killed. He wasn't going to filter anything out, and only Penthouse would say, yeah, we'll do that.
That doesn't surprise me. You know, the way that religion looks at the scriptures can be mind-blowing, to say the least. And publishers are only going to reflect what they think the religious will buy, because that's the market. Yeah. And if they think it's too much.
It's a weird dichotomy. It's like, read your Bible. Not that part.
Yeah.
Don't
it
focus
doesn't
too
mean
much on
naked.
that.
It means in bodysuits, not naked.
Yeah. They stood behind trees the entire time.
That's right. Yeah. When those cameras were on, they were not standing there naked. No.
Yes. When the angels came down to paint, then they pulled the branches down.
It's funny how people look at stuff, and you know, I love my Bible, but really I read my comics more. And that's what I learned to read from. And when I look at kids these days and you watch videos of teachers complaining in 7th grade, they're reading at a 3rd grade level. I think a lot of it's because they're in, no offense, but they're into video games that don't require as much reading. Mm-hmm. They're watching movies, TikTok, and they're fine entertainment, but
and somebody should figure out that that's what kids read and how they read, and make a Bible like that. I'm sure there's a ministry out there somewhere that has a publishing license and trademark that could make a comic book. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do it.
Well, King James is public domain. Anybody could use that if they want, but that is the hard one. This thou'st comic booketh is greateth. You know,
Nolan Shakespearean.
Yeah. I remember I used to think that was more holy because of that stuff. I thought that made it holy when I was a kid. Like, oh, if they use the it's holy.
Yes. God spoke the king's English. It was so important that even Thor would speak it, and he was Norwegian.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You guys are so silly.
There's 3 tiers on this campaign. There is the digital $5 one, which is here's a link to the folder of everything we've done. It's not $5 for this book. It's grab it all, steal it, share it around the world.
And that's continuous, by the way, until I die, or you know, like we have to take it down. Until some like technological failure worldwide, we're going to leave that open. So if you come back and it's issue 8, you can click into your link for the library and go read right back up to it, because that's the whole idea. Mm-hmm. I want you to buy the book because you look at it and you go, holy cow, I want to support that. That looks cool. Mm-hmm. And maybe you know a kid next door that after you're done reading it will want it.
Cool stuff with it for this $10 paltry $5 shipping. Look, I ship professionally. I can't ship a comic for under $5. No. It doesn't work.
Yeah, Diana always cringes when I try to set pricing because it's always like this, but in the long run,
you're at least $3 short.
I'm not saying a word.
This is all Chris. I'm more managerial in the way I look things because I sort of pay the bills and I see the accounts and
Well,
whatnot.
like I posted, make me give you T-shirts. Diana,
And
what
I'm
was that?
looking at him like, what? What are you doing? What is your new? What is this supersonic, whatever it is? Like, what are you talking
Super
about?
stretch goal, 50 backers, 50 physical backers, and I'll give them all T-shirts. And she's
Everybody
like,
gets-
really? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, really.
That'll be-
We're going to
everybody
do it.
gets a T-shirt. $55, folks, and the physical bundle is yours, 1 through 6.
Yeah.
That's it.
So at what
you have
point
a
are
limited mark on
we
this?
should make? What's that?
I probably the same thing you were getting ready to talk about. It's like, do you have an end of the story arc on this? Is it 6 issues and like we've reached a milestone and move on?
No, the actual end is the 12th issue for the story arc. And I'm wondering if like I should break that up into 2 hardcovers or 1, because I'd like to do it in 1, like the whole 12 issue, arc, as if it was a year, but it's actually been more than a year. But like that's my mindset. Like 12 issues is a series, and then I won't call it volume 2. Issue 13 is 13, but in my head it'll be okay. This is the second volume, and I'll work into that. But yeah, it's getting there. Like the books are starting to add up. And it won't be long where it'll be like $85 to catch up the whole thing, and then it'll be boom. We'll have one book.
And somebody be like, somebody said like, back in 2023, that was the best $5 investment I ever made.
yeah. And that would tickle my fancy if I get like 80 years old and somebody says I bought the link back in 2023. Oh my gosh, I'll be like, well, God bless you. Thank you for reading. Thank you for letting us know.
I'm still using my Ethernet connection to get it, but I got it.
Yeah, by then they won't even be looking at screens. It'll all be something else. It'll be a virtual experience. So
oh yeah, it'll be piped to their contact lenses.
Yep.
Yep. So there's nothing more to say. It's a great book. It's a lot of fun. It needs to have more backers than 11 right now.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am the world's worst salesman. I really want you to back it, but I don't want to be too pushy. So you won't hear me be a very forceful salesman, but this is a ride. This is a good ride.
Mm-hmm.
I'll push it. I'm gonna play this one more time because this is a cool theme song.
Well, when you played it last time, it had no audio.
He's an alien from outer space. He crashed to Earth and he's here to stay. He's here to make all the wicked pay. Every bad guy fears his name, the great Cyclopian. The one-eyed guy with the sharpest mind. The hero with the fingers always spouting signs. A rising star with a blinding shine. Give him a chance, he's gonna blow your mind. The great Cyclopian. A great Cyclopian. A great Cyclopian. A great Cyclopian.
RJ.
I actually really enjoyed making that too because it reminds me of like the 70s.
It's like,
opening.
ooh, get our phones out, It's a catchy little tune. I cracked up. I come home one day and he's like, hon, you got to listen to this. I'm like,
And
oh
I didn't give her a warning, I just let it play and she's like, okay.
Well, I
Great
liked it.
Cyclopian,
I thought it was cute.
what?
I thought it was great. It's a nice.
It's
fun
a catchy
tune.
little jingle. It works.
It's a catchy little jingle, and it kind of fits. Peter, the great Cyclopean. It fits his kind of personality too.
When I put him with heavy metal, it's almost too much. Like then he comes across as a monster.
Yeah, it's just I
didn't want Guar.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's how he looks. So I've done some heavy metal ones with him, and it's like, oh, that's kind of like kids they get scared easy. Like I was wearing face paint, and I've abandoned that because we did a little like survey of the kids, and I thought it was like a cool gimmick, and they were like, no, it's scary. And I'm like,
scary.
I don't want to scare kids. All right, off it comes.
What I liked about the video was that like you're giving all the talk about who he is and what he is, and you don't show his face until you pan up there at the end.
Yes.
Like perfect reveal moment.
I'm glad you saw that because I didn't know if it was too subtle, but that's exactly what we doing. Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. He told me the idea. He goes, yeah, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reveal it. Really. I'm like, that's fantastic because he is very unique. And we've had some slack about how he looks, and some people are just like immature idiots or whatever. But he is a cool guy, and if you read the series and you get to know him, kind of see his personality, kind of see what he's all about, he is a really cool character. So I'm hoping that people fall in love with him, keep buying, keep seeing where the story goes.
Well,
I don't
the
even
thing
know
is,
where it goes.
we're on issue 6, and I have to tell you, and this is for all creators, as your volumes grow, as you get more issues, it's like momentum starts to build, whether it's one reader, two readers. Our last show, I had several kids come up, and they knew the book as well as I did.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
was like, what? And they're like, we have these little metal cards that we've given out before with scenes from the books. And one kid in particular came up and he started like, this is from issue 2. This is the squid that he had to fight. And
No,
he didn't
not even kidding. I was like, what? He's like, yep. And this one over here, this card hits from issue 4. And like, he's got like, I'm like, all right, dude, you need a t-shirt for this here. Just like you are like the kid, like
you are our number one fan. You are not leaving without some bling. So guys, if you want to get a free t-shirt, walk up to us at a convention and just tell us about our series and we're
your
suckers.
stuff.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's amazing though. We were so humbled, and so for you guys out there, as you build your series, and don't stop at 4.
Right.
4 is like a mini series. Like just keep going. I watched it happen with Pyramid Knights. Same thing. You get to 6, 7, 8, and people start realizing, oh, it's not ending, and they get more interested. You pick up what they call momentum.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, that's something that Mike Tierney has brought up on the LCS Guys show too. Is like, it's like the best-selling titles are the ones that have not been rebooting to number 1. He's like Flash right now. He's like, you get something that's up in the hundreds, people are like, okay, this has got legs. It's actually going to stick around.
Yep.
And
it does have an effect on your mind, doesn't it? Like a book in the hundreds somehow has more weight than Superman Volume 5, Issue 1, or whatever it would be. It's
or Captain Marvel number 1.
Oh boy, that comes out every month.
They're going to get it right one of these times, right?
One of these days.
keep doing it over. All right, guys, we've reached the top of the hour here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Wrap things up. Oh, I could talk to you guys for like 6 hours on the show.
We do need to get together soon, though, and I don't want to sound like that guy, but we have a countdown coming up on Halloween night, and I know you're probably busy, so we have to do some.
Actually, my Halloween block is open. I tried to schedule one interview on Halloween night because I'm like, oh, that would be perfect, but he was not available. He's going to be on the next week. We are going to have on November 7th, Election Day, Dacre Stoker. Yes, he's related to that Stoker. And he's the Dracula story. He's doing Dracula the Return. I talked with him at Dracula Fest at Cosmic Comics a couple weeks ago.
That's awesome.
We set this up. And he's selling, not only does he have a comic book that he's working with his partner, Chris McCauley. I want to give credit to both of them there. But he's also got the annotated Dracula because he's got the manuscript. The one that Bram was like, let's write this and let's write that. And he's like, there were whole sections there where he had drawn lines through text to edit it out. He cut 30,000 words out of the original manuscript.
Wow.
And now this guy has them.
And they're in the annotated Dracula book. He's like, I put them all in there, and then I just gray highlighted. So if you see gray highlight blocks, that's the stuff that wasn't in the original book.
Wow.
That's a treasure.
That's awesome.
Is that like available somewhere?
Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to watch
Annotated Dracula by Dacre Stoker.
We'll have to make sure to watch November 7th.
November 7th. Go out and vote, and then come back and watch the show.
There you go.
All right, so stick around. We're going to talk. But for the rest of you guys, we're going to let you guys go. We do appreciate you being here. We don't have a show without you guys sitting out there watching in the audience. So we're glad you're here. And, of course, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast tonight.